right, Taylor. So here's what I got. I got 2 decks of cards. We got the green deck and the black deck. I want you to choose one of them.
All right, we're going green.
Green. All right, so take this and put it off to the side, but maybe leave it in frame, but just off near you so there's no way I can get it. All right. This deck, I'm gonna take the cards out and give these a shuffle. So I want you to, here, you go ahead, you give those a good shuffle. And whenever you are ready, I want you to pick out 3 cards. Now they can be 3 cards that you look at and choose, or you can choose them at random, but put your 3 cards face up here when you've decided. Whatever cards you want, no pressure. All right, Taylor. You could have chosen any cards, right?
Yeah.
I want you to give those a shuffle. Shuffle up those cards. All right. Now you could have picked any cards, right?
Yeah.
What is the sum of these cards? If you add them up, this being 13.
Okay. Like the ace is 1.
Yeah, ace is 1.
Okay.
This is 13. What's the sum?
18.
18. Right. Well, take these cards. Shuffle them back into the deck, right? You can see all those cards are different. That's important because you could have chosen any one of those, right? They're all different. Now watch. Here's what I want you to do, Taylor. Wherever feels right, really think about this. Just cut the cards. Right there, perfect. Now, you pick, what was the number? 18 it was, right? And you, free choice, you could have chosen any one of those cards. I want you to open this pack of cards. Take it out. Hold it face down in your hand and deal 18 cards face up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Slow down. 14, 15, 16, 17. Stop right there. Place the card down. Place the 18th card down. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
Now, the card you cut to, King of Hearts again. Crazy, right? You could have cut to any card. 18. Check in this packet, look. I see King of Diamonds. Flip it over, Taylor. The 18th card. The King of Hearts.
What? That doesn't... That makes no sense. How?
What is good, guys? It is Reed, and today I have a dope video for you guys. This is a trick that I don't know the name of. I, in my notes, call it double deck ACAAN, but it is not an original trick. It is just something that I found and threw some of my touches on, but I do quite like it. It's one of the only tricks that I will ever pull out a deck and stack for. This trick does work much better with a memorized deck, as I will explain in a bit. Now, I recently put out a video on how to use Cy Stebbins' stack as a memorized stack without having to really do much memory work. And so this trick greatly benefits from that. So I wasn't able to really perform this trick until I came up with this system. And with this system, it makes this trick a lot easier. I did use the system in the performance, and so you'll see how quickly I could know what that number was. When you're in person, you have someone, a live spectator, it's much easier because while they're shuffling, you don't really have to say much and you can quickly do the math. Now, this is an ACAAN, and I know you guys love those ACAANs, and this is actually, I think, the first ACAAN I ever really performed because it's pretty easy, and once I had that system down, it was pretty awesome, and it is so mind-blowing. Even the people who knew, you know, you have those friends who you show so many magic tricks that they start to figure some things out and they catch you on everything. They were fried by this, couldn't figure it out. And so this is a wonderful trick, pretty easy. It just uses a stacked deck and a regular deck. So it does use 2 decks, but I really love it. I honestly can't remember where I first saw this trick, but it is a great trick. And so I can't wait to share my subtleties with you guys and go over, you know, some of the ideas on how to use this awesome trick. This is a wonderful ACAAN, and if you're looking for an ACAAN to get started with, this one is pretty good. This one and So ACAAN that I've put out are great sort of tricks. This one doesn't require any real sleight of hand though, for the most part, so this one is real easy. So let's get into it. So the first step is you're gonna need a deck in a stack. Now, my stack of choice is gonna be Cy Stebbins. Now, Cy Stebbins, as I've mentioned before, is not a memorized deck, so I don't know what card is at position 33. I just know that there's a sequence to these cards. In Stebbins, they cycle by 3, so it's ace, 4, 7, 10, king, 3, 6, 9. They go up by 3, and it's clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds, clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds, okay? With my system, you need to go watch my video on how to use Stebbins as a memorized deck. It's basically an easy system to be able to know what card is at any number without any real memory work, just using a very little bit of math and a tiny bit of memorization. But you only have to memorize the position of 2 cards and then do some very simple addition and subtraction. So with that system, you can know the position of any card in this deck. So you're gonna take your stack deck. Now make sure if you're using my system, you have the ace of clubs on top, jack of diamonds in the bottom, and that's just a matter of cutting, so you're in that position, because if you cut Stebbins, it doesn't change the order. But just make sure that when you put this in the box, if you're gonna use my system exactly how it is, that you have the ace of clubs on top and the jack of diamonds on the bottom. If you've modified the system to suit how you like to have your Stebbins stack, then that is fine, and do it that way. So in one deck, you'll have your stack deck. In the other box, you'll have a regular deck of shuffled cards. So here's the first thing that I like to do that's really nice. So you start the trick and you present 2 decks of cards and you say, all right, I have 2 decks of cards. I want you to choose one. No matter what they choose, they're gonna be putting this deck in their pocket or holding on to it. So if they choose this deck, well, that's the one they chose, so they'll put it in their pocket. If they choose this deck, then I'll say, all right, open it up and take the cards out. They'll open the cards, take it out, and then I'll hand them this one and say, put that in your pocket, we'll get back to it. So a little bit of magician's choice, but I think it adds a nice little layer to this effect. So this, I like to give to them to hold on to or put in their pocket. Now, I immediately have them shuffle this, and then I say, I want you to pick any 3 cards you want. You can choose them at random without looking, or specifically choose the cards you want. Often I find people tend to specifically choose ones they want. So let's say that happens here. They can choose any 3 cards they want. Generally what's gonna happen though, is they're gonna take the cards out one at a time, which is nice for you because you can start the mental math. This trick does involve a bit of math, I will admit though. So they put card number 1 down, I'm instantly saying 10, and they look through and they put this card down, 12, and this card, 18. All right, perfect. Jacks would be 11, queens 12, kings 13, obviously. So these happen to be the same suit, obviously it doesn't matter. They choose any cards they want, and instantly I'm gonna get the sum of these cards in my head. Now that I have 18, I need to start working out what the 18th card in this deck is. With my system, that shouldn't be too hard to do. So what am I gonna do to get the spectator occupied while I take my 5 seconds or so to figure out what card is at that position? Well, I would hand the deck to them again, or if they're already holding it, I'll say, make sure you give those cards a good shuffle. Keep mixing them. And that'll be a good, 5 seconds or so of them shuffling. And if I need any more time, then I'll say, is there any reason you chose these cards? And that'll kill another 5 or so seconds, maybe more, depending how much they get into why they chose these cards. And that'll give you some time to listen and be silent. Really, you're not listening at all, you're just doing the math. What you're gonna do, I'll quickly, very, very quickly run over the math to get to know what card that is, but again, you need to go watch a detailed video. So, 18. So the highest multiple of 13 I can take away from 18 is 13, which leaves me with 5. I instantly know the 5th card is a king because that's one of the 2 cards that I have memorized. I know I subtracted 1 multiple of 13 and I did 0 cycles to get from one of the key cards to my new card. So now I know my suit indicator is number 1, which tells me hearts. So I know instantly it's the king of hearts. Now that obviously is a little bit longer because I'm saying it out loud, but that would happen in a matter of 5 seconds or less. So king of hearts. Now all I need to do is force the king of hearts. For this, I like to either do the spread force or the cross-cut force, depending on the situation. So what I'll do after they've shuffled, I'll take the deck back and I'll say it's really important for this trick that you see that all the cards are different. And I'll spread, and I'm just gonna execute a cull, or I'll just cut the card to the top, the card that I know is in that position. So king of hearts. So I'll say, I just want you to see all these cards are different. It's very important for this trick that all the cards are different. I always like to do that, break up my cull a little bit. It doesn't make it feel like I'm searching for their card anymore. And if I need to readjust my fingers, it gives me a chance to do that. Keep spreading. I see their king of hearts. I'll cull it, right? And I'll say, you can see all these are different. You could have chose any cards that you want. And now their king of hearts is on top. The other method that's easier, you say, you could have chose any one of these cards. You can see they're all different. Every one. King of hearts is there. As I close, the index finger kind of jams in beneath the king of hearts, and then I'll just keep spreading like this. And then as I close up, I'll just cut it to the top of the deck like that. I've never gotten called out on that, and I used to do that a lot before I was very good at the cull. So now you're in that position. You can execute any force you want. For me, I might shuffle it to the bottom And then I might go into my handling of the spread force here. So whatever card they choose, let's say they go with this one, they can see, and I'll close it up like that, and then they'll just remember that card. And that's nice because they sort of have a thought of card sort of thing. Or if I want to have sort of a reveal where they actually take the card out, I mean, you could do that with the spread force. And what that looks like is you take the card here, force it, up jog it, and you say, here, hold on to that. Actually, I'll quickly dive into the mechanics of the spread force, my handling on it, because guys, I think this is the greatest force ever. It's basically the same as the classic force, but it's 100%. And I mean, the classic force sucks as a force anyway, I'll be honest, because it's exactly what a layman would expect you to do when you're forcing a card, to put it in their hand. So I think the spread force is even more fair. I mean, the crosscut is honestly what laymen think is the fairest force according to a study by the jerks. So I would opt for that, but this, you know, feels so fair as well. So I want to cover the mechanics really quick because I feel like I made that video early on. Maybe it's not the greatest video, it's decent. I've been thinking about redoing it, but also I just think my handling of the spread force is just too good. So I just need more people to see it, guys. You're gonna love it. So essentially you just cull the card. I do it from the bottom, but you can cull it, you know, you can control it to like the 5th position and cull it from there, but you just need it culled. Then you do the similar spread force. The only difference is instead of doing that thing, you're gonna push the card forward. So as you spread, you're gonna need some leverage, right? Because if you just try to push the king over, everything's gonna fall. So that leverage, once they pick their card, you pick up whatever card they point at and you thumb it. You say this one right here, and that's gonna give you an excuse to 1, 2, and then contact the thumb against this packet and their card. And that's gonna give you all the leverage you need to press that card forward. Also, you can use this packet to square this card up along this edge with that card so it looks like it is that card, okay? So now, and you do all that under the cover of bringing the hands up. So this one here, and you show it to them, and then it feels like, with this packet up here, it feels like you're trying to shelter it from other people. So it's great for a peek, and I love doing that, closing up and handing it out for a shuffle right away, because that's, to me, the fairest way. There's no way they could think that you have any idea what that card is, that you could have got a glimpse at it, because it's so impossible. Like, look, they pick that card and you hand it out right away for a shuffle. So that's my handling on the spread force, very brief, but go check out that video. I just think it's so amazing, and I really need more people to see that handling because I use it all the time and it's just so incredibly fair. Anyway, let's get back to the trick. So once the king's on top, you could also do the crosscut force, and it's great. You'll have all the time misdirection in the world, as you'll see in a minute. So they cut, and then you just kind of mark their cut. Don't even, you know, say it, but just sort of put that bottom half on top. And that, of course, is just the top card, the King of Hearts, because as they cut, you're just kind of, you know, marking it like that. So then as our time misdirection, we're gonna draw their attention here, and you're gonna say, you could have chosen any one of these cards you want. You happen to pick these 3. I want you to add them up. What's the sum? And they'll add them up and they'll say 18. Now, if there's any face cards, I usually like to, you know, remind them Jack is 11, Queen is 12, King is 13. And then they'll give the number. They'll say 18. And now I'll say, look, you could have cut to any card, but you happen to cut to the King of Hearts. Now, it's important to reveal this card before you bring attention to this deck, because this sets up, it's gonna frame it so they already know what's to come, right? They're expecting the King of Hearts to show up, right? They're gonna get that sense, especially when there's a number involved like that. And because this is in their pocket and they're gonna do all the dealing and handle it the whole time, the fact that you reveal the card beforehand makes it feel like there's no way you could have done any switches here, right? Because there isn't, because you've already revealed the card. If you waited until the end, when you have this card out and then you flip both of them, then it's like, well, maybe once you figured out what this card was, you could have done something sneaky. And that, for me, is why I like doing the spread force, because they see it right away and then they can just kind of pull it out and put it aside. Or I really love to do it as a thought of card. So I'll force it, I'll just have them peek it, and I'll close it and hand it to them to shuffle. I'll say, just remember that card. And then at the end, they'll do the dealing, and before they flip the card, I'll say, what's the card you're just thinking of? They'll say King of Hearts, and we'll flip it. So now, you invite them to take the deck out of their pocket, take the cards out, you never touch them, that's important. So then I'll invite them to deal to the 18th card face up. 1, 2, and sidestep and stack is in a bit of a sequence, but no one ever notices, and that's not what they're focused on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. At this moment, I'll start to slow them down a bit. 15, 16, 17, and the 18th card I'll have them set aside. I'll reveal that all the cards are different, and then this is a great moment to recap. So you sort of say, think about this. You shuffled all the cards. I'm sort of making it feel like they shuffled this deck too, right? So you shuffled all the cards. You've seen they're all different. You could have chosen any card you want, but you happen to choose cards that added up to 18, and you happen to cut exactly to the King of Hearts. How crazy would it be if the 18th card in that deck was the King of Hearts? Let that sink in and have them flip it to reveal the King of Hearts. And you guys will get amazing, amazing reactions. Such a strong trick, so killer. So a few of the little nuanced details, guys, you know, like I said, make sure you do this reveal before you bring out this deck. It's gonna make it a lot stronger. That's why I like the spread force. You can do the sort of thought of card sort of idea. I really love that, because then the card's out and say, what's the card you're just thinking of? They'll say King of Hearts. What are the chances that the King of Hearts just happens to be at the 18th position? And you flip it. So that's another little great idea, but this trick is just so killer, guys, and really, really hard to be backtracked. So I absolutely love it, and I hope you guys love it too. Now, for some uses and other ideas, I just wanted to mention, of course, you can use a memorized deck to do this, and you will save some time for sure if you have that in your repertoire, a memorized deck. Just replace this Cy Stebbins deck with a memorized deck, and no math involved. You'll know instantly what card to do, and it's still going to be a wonderful trick. You know, some of those questions that I was talking about, if you need a little bit more time to sort out what card is at that position using the Cy Stebbins, then you can, you know, let them shuffle this deck. You can even, if they shuffle it once and they're handing it back quick, you say, no, shuffle it more, make sure it's really mixed. You can then ask them why they picked the cards they did, stuff like that. You know, just find some questions that you'll have instantly ready to ask in case you're worried about struggling, and then, you know, you won't skip a beat and it'll seem totally normal. And then the crosscut force, like I said, either that or the spread force is my go-to. You could use the riffle force, but I definitely like the crosscut force if I'm gonna, you know, if I want them to reveal the card face up sort of beforehand. But if I want to do a thought of card, I'll usually do the spread force. But I suppose a riffle force, you just kind of go like this, you say, remember that card, and that you can play off as a thought of card as well. So that is it, guys. I hope you love that trick. It is an awesome any card, any number. One of my first that I ever started performing, and I remember the great reactions I would get with it. I haven't done it in a while because it's only one of 2 tricks that I ever do that has any kind of stack. So I usually have a deck in Cy Stebbins ready just in case I want to do that, or the other trick that I like to do, but I don't know. I'm just not a big stack guy, but this trick made it worth it for me. And that's kind of what fueled me to create that whole Cy Stebbins system, was to be able to perform this trick. That was one of the reasons, this and another trick. And so I love it. I think it's super strong, super powerful, and pretty easy once you guys get the system down. And like, there's tons of justifications to buy you more time if you find that you need it. So play around with it. Hope you guys like it. There's a lot of different ideas. You know, you can use the forces in different ways and all that sort of stuff. But it's a really awesome effect. So at the end of the day, you guys play with it, do what you like, and I hope you enjoy it. I want to welcome all the new subs. Thank you for joining the fam. I am super grateful for all of you, each and every one of you, all the existing subs too. It's been quite a crazy journey, and I would like to know, what's your favorite any card, any number? You know, we're all obsessed with any cards, any numbers, so let me know, guys, in the comments what your favorite is to perform. Maybe this will make its way up the ranks in your list of any card, any numbers. It's definitely in up there for me. I quite like this one a lot. But with all that said, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.